Check. And we are back at it again, and this is Love Afrobeat Music Talk Radio, your number one African Caribbean online radio. Very beautiful day in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. The time right now, folks, is 6 minutes after 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we are back at it again. As I indicated, today we have a very special show to give you, but all the same, folks, there's a lot to talk about today. Petraa and myself will be joined momentarily, if I can put it that way. We are trying to establish special guest Wesbeezi from Jamaica. He's going to be our special guest today. We are going to have a very wonderful conversation. But hey, there's a lot to talk about. And then before we go there, hi Petraa, how you doing, my dear sister?
Hey TyB, hey lovely family. I'm doing great. How are you?
It's been tough, but all the same, you know what? I'm alive because today I had to attend a funeral service for my best friend of over 30 years, and it hasn't been great for me. And you know what? At the end of the day, what we will have to say, like DJ Jan too will say, life is beautiful, life is short. We have to embrace life. We have to encourage others to embrace life, because after that, we have nothing more to celebrate with. Everything else is vanity. So, you know what? That is what we do have. All the same, the week has been great. I have been going through some personal health problems, but God is good. All the time. They say God is good. I'm being a preacher today, you know what, Petraa. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you, TyB. You know,
how was your week?
Oh, my week was good, but I just wanted to say thank you for sharing that, you know, and our hearts do go out to you and also to the family of your friend as well. Our condolences. And may he rest in peace and rise in power, because I'm sure I myself and the listeners do know, you know, it's very hard to go through something like this, losing a friend, especially a best friend, you know, so I just want to share that. And even me myself, I also experienced a loss this week. So some people do know I'm affiliated with another radio station, Roots Reggae Radio. So one of our hosts from Roots Reggae Radio passed away, you know, so we want to send out our condolences to the family of Puggy Simeon. So he was an iconic reggae DJ in Toronto for many decades, you know. He collaborated, helped, encouraged, supported so many within the reggae community, you know, and he passed away on the 11th of September. So it's been very emotional for the reggae community with the passing of Puggy Simeon and also other things that have been occurring in the reggae community, you know, that I think we're going to touch on a little bit later on in the show in relation to the Junos wanting to take away the reggae category. So, but not just the reggae category, also the category for gospel music, also for children's and also international as well. But yeah, a lot of things have been taking place this week, you know, so it has been a very tumultuous week. But yeah, like when we experience a storm, eventually the sun has to come out, you know, eventually that storm will pass, you know, but it's just what that storm, the impact of that storm is going to have on you as a person, like who are you going to be in that storm and who are you going to become after that storm, you know what I mean? So
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Now, before we get Wesbeezi onto the platform, yeah, we were talking we're speaking about this what's going on. I mean, we've been battling. Let me put it this way: we've been fighting and continuously trying to fight to get things right when it comes to our industry. In that, it started with the Billboard charts a couple of years ago. I think 2 years ago, we spoke about it. You know, blackmailed, if I can put it that way. Why did they say blackmail on that stuff? Yeah, when reggae was put in that category, and to me, it feels like there's an assault, left and right on reggae music, and I
Most
don't
definitely.
understand why, and we are not going to put up with it. We'll do what we can to speak about it, and I do not understand it. If anything at all, reggae has been the mainstay of music around the globe, recognizable with great musicians, great artists like Bob Marley, Peter Tosh, so many of them that have come, ahead of us. I don't think. Again, too, as I've said before, Petra, I we had the music director in from the Sunset Boulevard a couple of years ago, and we were talking about the fact that even in their prime, artists like Fela, Manu Dibango, Peter Tosh, Bob Marley, and the list goes on and on and on. And we never heard them being invited or performing it. On the Sunset Boulevard in the United States, and it has been going on and on and on and on and on. And today we are talking about reggae being removed from the Juno Awards. I do not understand it, and let's discuss it before we bring in Wesbeezi. I know he's there, and then we'll bring him up there. So, the floor is yours, please.
Yeah, most definitely. Thank you for that, TYB. So yeah, being that I myself am a Juno nominated artist in the reggae category, um, and just I've been a reggae artist for almost 2 decades now. It does impact me and also many others in the industry, you know. So I definitely want to congratulate, you know, a lot of the artists, you know, for speaking about what's been going on and voicing it. And there are certain things taking place that we want to be establishing to counteract that decision, and even just to establish ourselves more and establish the infrastructure of reggae. You know what I mean? Just to backtrack a little bit, reggae music has played an integral part and has influenced many different artists and been used to fuse with many other genres for many decades. Like reggae first was introduced into Canada, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe in the 60s, you know, and I do have friends that were in Canada at that time that told me that they never even heard reggae on the radio.
Hmm.
Like, and even me trying to fathom like what do you mean? I'm like, I kept saying, what do you mean? Like, yeah, you would never hear reggae music on the radio. You know, the closest you would hear to reggae would be country and western. And then eventually when reggae started to come on, like you would wait all day just to hear that one song.
Hmm.
You know what I
Wow.
mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and to see how far the movement has gone, the culture, the genre has gone over the decades. So now we hear reggae music playing on multiple stations, right? um I feel like people take it for granted, more so because the story of reggae music hasn't really been told, you know. The infrastructure hasn't really been established, and the resources have not really been put into the reggae community in order for that to take place. So therefore, because those things haven't been established, to therefore now have reggae to be on par with other genres that have had a certain level of development infrastructure is kind of unfair. You know what I mean? So I think that is where the disconnect is coming from. But I think it's just a call to action for people that do care about this genre, do care about the sound, and understand the impact of its influence to stand up and say, you know what, let's see how we can be of need. Let's start building certain infrastructures, you know, let's start building systems. So I do have to really credit people like Tony Anthony, you know, and he'll be hosting the Reggae North Awards happening on September 29th. And Tony Anthony, he has Reggae North, the magazine, where he's promoting reggae artists throughout Canada, you know, and he's also putting on his first award show recognizing artists in that genre. So if you're a reggae fan, you know, you're interested to check out the event. It's happening September 29th, Reggae North. And I also want to shout out as well Kirk Diamond and HOV, because they're also putting on an event for the reggae community that's happening September 22nd, and that is in collaboration with Simmer Down Sundays and Pond the Corner. And it literally is going to be a screening of a documentary showcasing the legends of reggae music. So legends such as Nana McLean, Jerry Brown, Roy Navon, Leroy Sibbles, Johnny Osborne. These are people who were pioneers of reggae music in the 60s. These are the artists that brought over that culture, that sound here to Canada, and were pushing that. And at one time, the Canadian reggae bands like the Satellites, they were recognized as being the top artists in the world in reggae music in the 60s and the 70s. But something has happened over the past few decades to whereby reggae doesn't have that same type of standing. And again, I believe it is to do with infrastructure. You know what I mean, TyB?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree with you, and I mean, those of you out there, if you are within the GTA area, go check it out because you know what unity is strength. And then what we are having to talk about is due to the fact that you know what we've been at this for a long time. What do you think are some of the reasons that is culminating this? Because I just do not understand it. You know, I quite remember back a couple of years ago when there was nothing like African or international or stuff like that, and I have been against it. You cannot give out an international award where it comes to music. One man poison is another man's whatever they say. I may be right or I may be wrong. You cannot group them into one, but at the same time, we cannot create categories for every other genre of music. But the established ones, of course, you can look at that. Reggae has been in the within mainstay. In Canada, we had the Satellites. We had so many great Messenger, Kirk Diamond, Leroy Sibbles who passed through. There's a lot of people who have come in through here. But what thing I don't understand is why now? Why now? Has there been any reasons, and what is the reggae fraternity doing about it? Have you heard anything about what's actually going on?
So I want to backtrack to your first question when you were asking why are they doing that, right? And you mentioned about the international category, you know? Um, I understand why they would have an international category because, like you said, you know what I mean? There's a multitude of sounds that can't, they can't create categories for every single genre. So it makes sense to have a category, just to recognize world music. You know what I mean? But like I stand to hear that when they do have the international category, most of the time they're inviting like American artists. You know what I mean? Which to me kind of defeats the purpose of it being international. International should be recognizing Canadian artists within Canada that sing international music, as opposed to let's bring an international artist. Because isn't the Juno supposed to be recognizing Canadian music, like Canadian artists?
Yeah.
So I don't get that. Number one, and then number two, when it comes to the Junos eliminating, I can speak about reggae, but I can also speak about all the other categories too and what it looks like, But when it comes to reggae, I think being a reggae artist in Canada, navigating the industry, I find that a lot of people possess a lack of understanding and miseducation when it comes to reggae music and culture. They don't know what it is. Like for them it's like, oh, Bob Marley, and they smoke marijuana and they have the locks and that's it. But there's so much more to the culture. The culture is about, to me, I feel like the whole world is embodying Rastafari culture in the sense that Rastafari culture, they're vegans. Right now, many people want to become vegan or live in a vegan lifestyle. Rastafari culture is wearing your hair natural and embracing who you are naturally, not changing who you are to fit into a certain culture, a certain system. Right now, we have a natural hair movement. You know what I mean?
Mm.
There's so many things, even when it comes to like marijuana being like legalized, right? Like, the shun of it, or like the way people used to look down on the herb. You know what I'm saying? Like now is legalized in many countries.
Mm.
Canada, there's a cannabis store on almost every corner now, sometimes two. You know what I mean? And these are things that within Rastafari culture have been used more for spiritual and meditative practices, you know, not to be abused for other purposes. So there's many, but at the same time, all those things broken apart, singularly together, some of those elements are part of our culture, you know. Also, just embracing our indigenous culture and heritage, you know, the spiritual aspect. There's many aspects to Rastafari culture that a lot of people don't know, and I feel that is what needs to be pushed more, you know, is more education and more understanding of Rastafari culture, reggae culture, and its impact and of its music and its culture, and in relation to love and unity and bringing people together. The more of that message that is spread, then people will be like, oh, okay, I understand that. I want to hear more of that type of music. I want to be uplifted more by that. So when it comes to the Junos, me coming from England, you know what I mean? I come from England, and in England, reggae music is so much more respected than Canada, you know? And I thought it would be like on par. Why is it not here? You know what I mean? It's the lack of education, I feel, TYB.
And again, I think the Rastafarian culture has been misunderstood, because anytime you talk about Rastafari, as soon as you talk about reggae, everybody thinks about, you know what, smoking, ganja, and they've never seen, a lot of people have never sat down to listen to lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
The lyrics.
Exactly. The lyrics.
The lyrics. You know, reggae artists, reggae, you know, musicians, singers, songwriters, and stuff like that, including you, always think and talk about our well-being, social injustices, and a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
But then, if it comes to people managing these awards, the so-called international awards, I'm inclined to say that maybe sometimes we don't have any representation there for us to be able to submit what the whole thing is all about. The whole thing the whole thing about it is that you have to understand it. You just don't go and cut it from it. If it comes to country music is well, we don't want to go there. Rock and roll, we don't want to go there. Rock music, we don't want to go there. We have to know the source, the history behind these genres of music. It didn't just drop down. So, if country music, rock music will be maintained when it comes to the Junos, and most of the time, other international awards, if I can put it here, was it about 2 years ago, where a lot of people felt that the winner of the Grammys in terms of reggae wasn't from the culture, and they were astute and great, competent, and you know what, musicians alike who were how do I put it, who were overlooked, and then overlooking it went the other way. So it didn't sync well with people around the globe in terms of reggae fans and non-fans alike. So I think we've been misunderstood, and everything has been taken for granted. That whole these people, as soon as you give it to them, they won't say anything. That's it. You know what? Let's go ahead and do it. My whole thing my question will be, maybe you may not know the answer, or somebody out there may know the answer. Was the fraternity in Canada consulted before this? If it wasn't, that was really bad. If I can put it that way, that was really bad, because it takes the wind out of the whole culture. Which way forward? Which way forward? What is going to be the next category that's going to be taken down? And then from where I sit and from the information that you and I spoke about, there were other categories too that's going to be facing the axe. If you can enlighten the listeners a little bit about that, then we can continue with that, please.
Yeah, for sure, TyB. Thank you for saying that. So, yeah, as well as reggae is also going to be gospel, the children's music category, and also international, you know? So, even that in itself, it makes me question because the Junos they're supposed to be, well, they are a non-for-profit organization celebrating um, the different cultures of Canadian music, or celebrating all the music of Canadian culture, right? But then it's like you're eliminating categories that represent other sounds of Canada. And to me, it's like I've never really heard of award shows axing categories in that manner, you know, and especially like a category like reggae that's established, you know what I mean? So it doesn't make any sense. And then it's like you're taking away the gospel, you're taking away children, you know what I mean? Like some would say, you know, I've heard others say that, you know, like this is like the good sounds of the Junos,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? So if you're taking out like the sounds of positivity, upliftment, unity, you know, even children's, it's like how can you even take away a children's category? Like honestly, like what message are you sending to the children? What message are you sending by taking away these categories, you know? It's like you're not you're not sending a message of inclusion, you know? You're sending a message of exclusion, you know what I mean? And again, it's not based upon ethnicity. I feel like I think it's based upon culture, you know, because in many cultures you have people of all different colors and shades, you know, but a culture is their identity. So taking away those categories to me is like an attack on those identities, the identities of those that connect with reggae, those that connect with gospel music, you know, those that connect, you know, that like, but children, like children itself, like children's music, children's shows, that's its own culture. And then international as well. What message are you sending to your audience, to your listeners, and to the supporters? That is my question.
Yeah. Folks, we are waiting to get Wesbeezi. He came out, and technologically speaking, he is trying to connect from Jamaica. And then instead of that, we are discussing the fact that, you know what, children's gospel music and reggae is being or has been struck from the Juno Awards in Canada. And this is what we, you know what, chatting about, because it's very unsettling. And I do not know. Maybe somewhere down the line we may invite a member of the CARAS organization, the organization that handles the Juno Awards, to come and enlighten us as to how they arrived at this decision. What was it? How is reggae not relevant anymore in Canada
Mm,
or around the globe or something like that? But if we come to look at how many categories are there, some of them overlap each other. And then to take reggae out of it is quite unsettling, and I'm not happy about it. I'm really, really not happy about it. Which one is going to be the next? Afrobeat or what?
mm,
What else?
mm.
Because I don't want to go into the R word, because I feel well. I'll bring you up about this because last week we had a very interesting conversation. Yes, a very interesting conversation, bothering on this a little bit, and the artist went so deep. But at the same time, too, I agreed with him to some extent. But how he explained it, it's not about everything that we have to use the R word, racism thing. It's about money. Reggae has made people rich,
Yeah.
seriously rich.
Yep.
And even if you have to come to terms with that, reggae awards, like the international awards, are the one that we won, um, are held on a Friday night, the Friday night of the TV screens. Right? Reggae should be there on the TV screen. It's not there.
And
And
why?
yes, I turned to question as to the rationale, but if I have to split it into two, I would say it's about money, advertisements, and all those kind of stuff. But not everything is all about money. Everything, most things, is about educating people to know
Mm.
much more about how people arrived at certain things and stuff like that. I bet you may ask a whole lot of people as to the origins of reggae music. They will not be able to tell you. They will not be able to tell you the history about reggae music. It's not all about music, I mean, about the dollar sign, but at the same time, too, when certain decisions are being made, considerations may have to be taken in, there. But with this, hmm, Petra, I'm having a headache about it. You thought about it, please.
Yeah, most definitely. You made a good point when you said, what would be next, and that's my thing. It's like, okay, so if you take away these, it's like you're just saying like there's a possibility you could do to any category, So then it's like it takes a long time to build up trust, And by doing some of the things that they're doing, you're showing that, that the artist can't really trust you, like the culture, the genre can't really trust you. You know what I mean? So I don't know what message is sending out for that organization long term. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I guess that's something they have to strategize and kind of figure out. Um, when it comes to moving forward now, you know what I mean? I totally agree with you because that's what I said. I, for me, the R word. I mean, now that I'm older, to me, the R word really just signifies ignorance, lack of education. Those are the people that have that racist mentality. You know what I mean? It's just
Mhm.
ignorance.
Yeah,
People
yeah,
that don't know better. Look at
yes.
the race riots that are happening in the UK. Like I'm born and raised in the UK, so I've experienced some of those experiences growing up as a child. But I never felt intimidated, because I already had the knowledge to know that a person that acts in that way lacks the knowledge. Because if they knew what we knew, they would never act that way. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. This whole thing with the Junos in relation to the reggae category and reggae music in general in Canada, in the mainstream Canadian industry, there's a lack of education and understanding about the culture. And I know that because when I got my nomination and I wanted to meet and interact with people, and I remember going to an event and saying, okay, as a reggae artist, now I've got the nomination. Where's my avenue? Like, what's my route? Silence. And the, and then the answer I got was, we don't know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
How do you not know though? Like, it takes. I was even speaking. Kirk Diamond came on Roots Reggae Radio 2 days ago, so definitely shout out to Kirk Diamond, Tony Anthony, DJ Chocolate, the whole Roots Reggae Radio family, iStick, Z, everybody. But he came on the show and we've been talking like in the reggae community because there are things that are going to be happening, right? And he
Yeah,
said if you look at other than Kyra McLean, pretty much all the reggae artists are in their 40s. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's like it's taken us 20 years just to get to where we are. You know what I mean? It's not been easy, and a lot of us we don't do it full time. We
yeah,
have to find a different way to supplement and still do our craft. You know,
yeah.
so it's very hard to be a reggae artist, and that's to show we do it for the love. We do it for the love of the music. We do it for the culture, and we do it for the positive, uplifting messages, and the fact that we get to speak each other's stories. You know,
That's right.
we speak about what's going on, so there needs to be a level of respect given to artists in that genre.
Yes. And folks, we are listening to Loud Afrobeat Music Talk Radio. The program is Highway 6 to Africa. We come here every Saturday to align ourselves with publishers, artists, managers, what have you, and speak about what is trending within our industry. I'm an artist. Petraa is an artist. Ron, who is vacationing somewhere in the boondoggles out there in British Columbia, western part of Canada, he'll be joining us. He tells me that he'll be joining us. So if he doesn't join us, I'll be calling on the friends of mine to go look for him because he is camping somewhere. We want him to come out alive and
Mhm.
not to be chased by birds. Folks, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we have our special guest here. We are going to introduce him to you. And before we do that, um, Petraa is the fraternity talking about the fact that they've taken reggae out of this thing. Before we go on to Wesbeezi, please. Is the fraternity talking about it? What is the action, the next course of action, please?
Yes, most definitely. So yes, the reggae community has been in many, many talks about what's been going on, and we are actively working on solutions, collaborative partnerships to really see how we can really tackle this issue. You know what I mean? And honestly, um, in every situation, there's an opportunity. You know what I mean? And I think this is an opportunity for the reggae fraternity to come together and start strategizing and figuring out how we can build an infrastructure that is not reliant upon other organizations. You know what I mean? But
Thank you.
at the same time, we in the reggae fraternity community also need the same type of help that is being offered and given to other genres in the music fraternity, because it's obvious and open to see reggae artists are not given some of the same opportunities that other artists are given. They're not given the same access, the same information. You know what I mean? So there needs to be, and I have to do definitely shout out and big up Masani and Masani's Rastafest, and because she is active, the Canadian Reggae Association, she is putting on programs teaching artists about grant writing, artist development. Same with Reggae North, they're also doing artist development, but they needs to be spoken about more. Like these are some of the things that the Juno should be endorsing, and like SoCan and Karis. Like there are organizations within the reggae community educating and working with the artists, but we do need some bigger type of sponsorship, some bigger type of partnership to make it be successful. So to me, it's like if you see there's an issue in the industry, why disregard the issue? Why not say, okay, you know what, they need help. Let's see how we can help them.
Yes, yes, I agree with you. And on that note, that's like you're saying, I'm very, very upset about it. And then, like you said, I love what you said. We have to build our own infrastructure. We have to. We have no choice but to build our own infrastructure. And on that dim note, we are going to having some nice time. And then here we have a special guest for this afternoon, this morning, this evening, wherever you may be around the globe. On this program, Highway 6 to Africa, Wesbeezi. Wesbeezi, how you doing, my brother? Hi, Wesbeezi. We can hear you. You're mute. Yeah. Uh, yes, we can hear you a little bit. Please speak up,
You have to
please.
turn up a little bit, or
Turn
maybe
it up.
this the speaker is covered. Maybe
It's faint.
very faint, very very quiet.
Mhm. Go ahead, please. Say something.
Volume is up.
Yes, we
Oh,
can hear
that's
you.
better now.
That's better. That's
Yeah.
better. So, how you doing?
Well, I'm here,
I
representing. Yeah.
like that. I like
Respect.
that
Good to
answer.
have me.
Yes, 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 yes,
Yeah.
yes. We are so happy to have you here to
Hello, man.
have you speak about yourself, your music. I've been following you ever since I
I
got you.
really can't hear. Trust me. I don't know why.
Oh, we
Okay,
can hear you now.
we can hear you.
Can you hear us?
Really, I'm not hearing.
Okay, folks, we'll
I'm
be
not sure
right.
why.
Yeah, we'll be right back with him.
Sometime I hear you guys, and then another time it's
All
just
right. It seems
very low.
you have
I'm
also
not
opened
sure
up,
if it's my phone is a problem.
yeah, you've also opened up the big yard music that is muted. So most probably you are using
Yeah,
two
that's
different.
I don't and that's not hearing.
That's right.
Maybe I forgot and coming back, but
That's right.
yeah.
Please do
All
that.
right, cool.
Right. First, we are going to be having, technology is like that. You cannot predict it. It's like the rainfall. Sometimes you see the clouds there, it doesn't rain. Where you least expect it, that's when it comes down.
Exactly.
So you know what? It is that. It is what we have right now. Well, let's go back to what we were discussing before, Petra. Very, very interesting conversation. I think before we build our infrastructures, we have to make sure that um, we express ourselves. If we don't, we always keep quiet and take everything that is thrown to us. See, what I don't understand is, were there any consultations?
So that's the thing, because I don't believe so, because from what I'm hearing, everybody just heard that by surprise, and I definitely want to shout out Tony Anthony again and the whole Reggae North team, because they were the ones that broke that information to the community. I remember seeing that message. I was like, I just dropped what I was doing. I was like, and I instantly went to my Instagram. Like, if you go to my Instagram, Petra's Music, Petra with 2 A's, I did a video, you know what I mean? And I don't do that.
So that
I was like, what? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not in an emotional type of way, but more in the sense of like speaking out. Yeah, because we can't not say anything. Like, and I come from a country, as you do too, where like when things happen, we speak out about it. We don't keep quiet. You know what I mean? That's why I love England. I love my country. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I love Canada too. But I feel people are very hesitant to speak their mind. Why? Just speak. You have one life to live, and if you don't speak, there's no change. Cause and effect.
It does. It does. It's quite it's quite heavy for me. I'm still thinking about the fact that 2 years ago, just 2 years ago, the Bill broadcast, we discussed this.
Yeah.
We did discuss this. The Billboard charts where reggae was taking up, boom, lieu of Afrobeat music. And the question at that time was, is that a divide and rule thing, or is there any clash thing that is being set there for reggae artists and the reggae fraternity and the Afrobeat fraternity? They are one and the same.
Yes.
But the one thing that made me so excited and happy about it, we went over it as quick as possible, because that was right about the same time where there was the Afrobeat Nation or Reggae Nation, where they had Burna Boy and the
Coffee.
Yeah, we stood our ground and said, hell no, you cannot divide us. And we did it. But having to deal with this one right now, it's quite heavy. It's quite heavy. And unless somebody comes out to tell us the reasoning behind this, in more so gospel music, where has people's, religious sentiments gone to? Let's try to see whether Wesbeezi is ready for us. Let's see. Hi, Wesbeezi, can you hear us right now? You're still muted, please. Unmute yourself, please.
Yeah, man. I hear you better now.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, that's technology. Technology always fails us, but hey, as humans, we are always there to fight whatever is thrown at us. How are you doing, my brother? And how's Jamaica?
Jamaica is great, and I am doing fine.
Awesome. It's nice to have you here. Wesbeezi.
Blessing.
As we always do, our first question, it used to be from myself, but then we sat back and you know what? We always say that ladies first, but now you can't say ladies first for equality purposes. But then now,
Petra. From when? Do I have to give you authority now?
From now.
Say, oh, well, I'm a lady, so I allow you to. Like, wow.
Yeah.
I start correcting if I said something like, well, Petra, the first question comes to you, from you to Wesbeezi. The floor is yours, please.
Thank you. This lady accepts. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes, darling. Dear thing.
Thank you, Wesbeezi. Yeah. So it's definitely a pleasure to have you on the show. How are you doing?
I am great. I am doing fine. Yeah.
That's a blessing. So
Yeah.
yeah, Wesbeezi, I'd love for you to share with the listeners all over the world who is Wesbeezi.
Well, Wesbeezi is a Jamaican musical artist, Jamaica, Kingston, right? And for those persons who are globally and don't know where, that is Jamaica is the Caribbean, right? And we are known for the athletics, right? Very diverse people, right? Yes. So
Yeah.
yeah, Wesbeezi is from Jamaica, and I am a musical artist. There are other things that Wesbeezi do, but for now we're representing for the music, right? So yeah.
Nice, most definitely. And can you tell the listeners what made you get into music? Like why music?
All right. So from I was a very young, from I was born, when I know myself, I was a musical. I was and still am a musical person, right? So from a child, you just resonate in music, right? So you hear music playing, you're always interested, no matter which genre. From it as rhythm, we become very interested. So we always be the ones at school to be participating in singing concerts, class concerts, and all of that. So it was always our thing. Over time, you move to other things, but we're still in touch with the dancehall, which song is a good song, you know. And in about 2011, thereabout, we and some of the guys around us they were always arguing about artists and who is who. And I said to them, like, yo, all of you there can do something and become just like the persons who we're talking about and make a difference in other person's life. And we started that initiative from there because I wanted them to find the inspiration in themselves to become more than just a mouthpiece about things that are happening and actually do some of that for themselves. So that is how we embark in the music to actually take an active part in how it is done rather than just talking about it.
Most definitely. But that sounds really, really good. You know, like you have to have an active role in the music, you know, I mean, and take your love and your passion for it and actually make it into something
Yeah.
that can actually impact people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thank you for
Sure.
sharing, TYB.
Hi, Wesbeezi. Welcome to Highway 6 to Africa. And I was reading your bio. And the press release was a debut single called Sufferation in 2015. This tells me you've been in the industry for quite a while right now.
Let me go again. Sufferation, what is about that?
Yeah, in 2015 was it?
Yeah.
Yes. This is how it began.
You
Going to
said
the studio, going to the studio, and you know what? You may have played, or you may have how did you come with that title, Sufferation? What was
oh
it
yeah,
all?
the song Sufferation.
Yes,
Oh, you're asking how I came up with that?
that's right.
Right. So we are always very aware of how the world is running, and in terms we have always been in very vocal in terms of what is happening in the world socially and at a humanitarian level. And we see that there was an influx of diseases and lack of care for people and just a lot of things that were very inhumane in terms of how people were living and the things that were happening. So if you listen to Sufferation, it is very thought provoking because of a certain knowledge background that I possess. So it is a new age, and I mean, a lot of persons will know that a lot of information is out there. No, but we knew a lot about this from about 2007. So the best way to reach people sometimes is to put it in music. Understand? So that was where Sufferation came about. And there are others like Sufferation.
Yes, and Sufferation opened up a lot of areas where you released others. And how did Sufferation fare in Jamaica?
Well, go again. What you say? How it does what?
Yeah, how did it do? I mean,
Oh,
what?
oh, well, all
Yeah,
right. Well, overall, most of the songs that I have done, I've never become really a major songs like that in terms of being everywhere played. It's mostly now and then. At that time, it was really self-production, but for the persons who hear it, and a couple times that it has been heard, it has been it has an impact on the people who heard the song in terms of allowing them to look deeper in themselves and what has been happening around them, how people are living. Yeah. But it's well accepted by those who heard it.
Yeah. And you release everything of every track after after you release Suffocation became recognized, and that put you on the map. And
Mhm.
yes, doing so great, 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 great. Then let's talk about Vibes, your
Yeah.
current release. I love it. I love it. But how did you come about? Because I can feel some Afrobeat, there's some fusion, something there, something in there. I love it. How did you come with that kind of a sound? Because it's a very, I'm tipping it to be a track that people should go out there and listen to. Vibes. I love it. How's it doing now? How did you come up about with it
All
and
right.
with experimenting with the sound that you have right now? I love it.
All right. Respect first of all for the love. Vibes, there's a producer called Vikla, right? Vikla is a Jamaican living in New York, but he does a lot of his craft in somewhere in Ghana and
Sierra
Africa. And
Leone.
Sierra Leone.
right, right,
Yeah.
right. So he moves about and he is into his merch and music, produces music. So he sent me that beat, and when he sent me that beat, that was the song that came to mind. It just came up. It's like I was listening to the instrumental, and that started playing in my mind. So I was always, as I said before, we're always into music. You listen to music, you sing music, and so it is easy for music to come about once you hear a certain rhythm. You understand?
Yeah.
So vibes came up as a Afropop. It's like a cross between dancehall and Afrobeat. I didn't try to do it as a Afrobeat artist. We
Mhm.
were we were doing the dancehall and the Afrobeat,
Woo.
right?
You blew it out of the park. It
Yeah.
was done very, very well. Folks out there, go check it out. Vibes by
Hmm.
Wesbeezi. My God, God, God. It's a killer. It's a killer. It's my track right now. I love it. I love
Respect,
it. I love
respect. Yeah,
it. Petra.
man.
Yeah, most definitely. Thank you for sharing, Wesbeezi. Wesbeezi, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, most definitely. So, can you tell us about some of your influences? Like, who has influenced your sound? Like, your music is an eclectic sound of different genres together. So, who has influenced you?
All right. Well, to be very honest, because you see, once you're doing music, everybody will influence you. Everybody. Tell you the truth. See? So it's like this is not about trying to impersonate anyone because you have to be yourself. But
Mhm.
you are always influenced by sound because we get our thoughts from the mental reservoir. And that is
Yeah.
where everybody collects their thoughts and ideas from. So we are
Mhm.
all connected to that mental reservoir. You understand?
Very
So
true.
um I like to see artists or hear artists do songs that cause me to dance because I am always in the dance hall. I
Yeah,
used to
exactly.
dance. I still
Nice.
dance. So when I go to parties, I like to hear songs. It doesn't matter who, once it sounds good, and it
Hmm.
doesn't matter the genre. Once it causes you to move, 'cause if you notice how vibes is done, it is done for you to move. You understand? If you listen, sir, if you notice one part I said that everybody must a dance all if you can't dance. So I'm
Mm.
telling you that even if you're not a dancer, get involved, jump and prance.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
amazing. You
yeah,
got to
yeah.
see some of your dancing skills, you know?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah,
For
man.
sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I wanted to ask you too, because as TyB mentioned, you've been in the industry for a while, right? And that's really amazing. You have some great music, you know, like people do know you, and you're going to continue to grow, you know, with your music, making more amazing music, evolving your sound. So I wanted to ask you, so where do you see Wesbeezi in the next 5 years? And what advice would you give to another young artist like yourself coming up? What advice would you give them?
All
So where do
right,
you see five
first
years?
question: where is Wesbeezi in the next 5 years? Once I am blessed with health and all of that, I will continue to make more music that will, influence people all over the world to want to hear Wesbeezi. I probably on tours or collaborating with other artists, and creating a name for myself and my friends and all the persons who believe in self-production, because that is where it is. We are at that point now where we have to discover our God-given talents, you
For
know,
sure.
and generate them within ourselves, because all of those things are within ourselves. So I won't say, oh yeah man, next year, 5 years, I'm going to be the biggest artist. I don't want to be that. I don't want to own the spotlight. I just want to do what can be done and what I can do and grow and help influence others. And in terms of how to, what I would say to new artists or whoever coming in this business, don't try to be like anyone. Try to
Mm-hmm.
be yourself, because the moment you try to be like anyone, you lose yourself. Somebody else already occupies that spot. And
Wow.
there's no other being as you. That is why you are here. And you came here with a package, and it is for you to deliver that package, because it is your duty. That,
Exactly. Most definitely.
yeah,
Well said. Honestly, those words really resonated with me
yeah,
because
man.
a lot of artists, yeah, especially a lot of new artists, you know, and I guess it makes sense because they're trying to find themselves, you know. They'll take onto an artist that they like and they'll try and sound like that artist. Like, I'm not gonna lie, when I first started singing, I sounded like Tony Braxton.
Yeah.
um, break my heart. You know what I mean? Like, I
And
was
not
singing
nothing,
Tony in
you
my
see,
room.
nothing is wrong with
But
that,
now
Yeah,
I'm me. It
right.
took a decade, it took some time, but
Yeah,
now I have my own sound, you know?
right, right, right,
So, but
right.
continue. You were gonna say something. Go ahead, West
No, I
BZ.
was saying that nothing is wrong with you sounding like that at first, because remember, anything falls in the water has to find its own float. So what you were doing, you were finding your own float, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because as I said before, we are all connected, right? So somebody might have influence you, and nothing is wrong with that. We have to get some of those negativity out of the way, where people think that, oh, I have this style and I own it and nobody else should never do it. No. If somebody else comes up with a style and you want to endorse it, you should. And it's all about expansion and ascension, That is what new nation is about, you know, growth, expansion, new nine.
Exactly. Well said. I want to say one thing as well because you also mentioned even if an artist sounds like another artist, there's only one of each artist. They're never gonna look the same. Like they're never gonna be the same. You
Right.
know. So support one another. There needs to be less competition and more
Animosity.
collaboration.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, and sorry, TRB, I wanted to mention one thing. So
Go
I
ahead,
don't know
please. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Wesbeezi, I don't know if you know much about what's going on in Canada, right? Because I'm a reggae artist in Canada, and we were just speaking on this topic before
Yeah.
you joined us. And that I don't know if you heard about the Junos in Canada.
No, no. At Jonas,
Yeah, the Junos.
I
It's
think
like
I heard the name, but I don't really know a lot about it.
okay, that's fine. Yeah, so the Junos is like the Canadian version of the Grammys, right? Like Canadian Grammy
Oh,
equivalent.
okay. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they just recently announced they want to take
Yeah,
out
yeah, yeah.
the
Yeah,
reggae
yeah.
category. You know what I
You're
mean?
right. I heard about that.
Yeah, so you being like a reggae, a dancehall reggae artist, you know,
Yeah.
from Jamaica, outside of Canada, like what do you think about that? Like what are your views on that?
Well, first of all, because I don't have a lot of information in terms of why they would consider to remove that category, or how the music has been doing in Canada. I'm not sure why, so I wouldn't want to say anything bad or good, but I mean, the reason why, if I know the reason, then I could say, well, that can be changed, or artists need to look into the reason and to try to formulate a different form or style of delivery, because maybe it's the delivery or the culture or what is associated with the music now. Because we have authentic reggae and original dancehall that is still loved. So I'm not sure if they think that that is the new trap or the gangster thing is the only thing that dancehall has to offer, but it is not. That is not the case.
And I hear what you're saying, but that's the thing too, right? If that's all is being promoted and shown,
Mm.
we can't rely on people to focus on what reggae was like in the past. Even though that sound is still recognized, respected, and appreciated, that's all sounds.
Yeah,
What's
yeah,
reggae
yeah,
and dancehall saying today? You know, and I can't really speak for dancehall because I'm a reggae artist, right? But it
yeah.
is unfortunate that a lot of the young kids of today, when they're doing dancehall, they're speaking about violence and all kind of crazy stuff that has no representation to the origin
Yeah,
and the
yeah, yeah,
culture. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? The original. So
Mm-hmm.
it is by way of the elders within the community, you know, the people who help bringing these young people in the studio to guide them, not be like, okay, make this bad man song so we can make our money. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? I feel like the culture has gone downhill because they sold out the culture for money. You know what I mean?
true, true.
And that has
And
consistently been an issue within our culture, not just in reggae, but in other areas. We cannot keep selling out for money. What value is this money? What is money at the end of the day? Money is an energy, you know, but
right,
the energy that we're selling out for is the opposite of the energy that the Most High is allowing us to create through the music.
true.
You know what I mean?
Well, you see, part of what I realize is actually happening is that the original dancer beats are no longer being created. You know, it's the new
Mm,
beats. It also it has a lot to do with the beats, because a lot of the beats sound alike, and that bass line that we usually have and all of that, I don't hear them. I'm not sure if it's because some of the original beat makers have, probably matured and they can't bother to be a part of this new culture. But we need that beat, because the beat attracts the sound. And dancer was always about sound, rhythm, budget them and bounty them usually sound, and you know. So we're not hearing a lot of those beats. So I think that is a part of it. I won't say it is everything, but it is a part.
mhm.
But you're correct, where you said that the a lot of the times it's about just the money and the hype. We have to think about the future and what it is.
Mhm.
We have to try to preserve the craft. That when we pass it on, it can really help others to become a better version of themselves also.
Yeah, most definitely. And I was just saying to TYB as well. I don't want to. I know we're going to be finishing soon, but I was saying to TYB, the reggae artists in Canada that are doing reggae, we've been doing it because I'm a reggae artist for over 20 years, and it's taken us 20 years just to get to where we are now. Because at that
Yeah.
time in Canada, they wouldn't even play reggae music on the radio, just like in Jamaica. You know what I mean? And now it's like we've come this far, but yet we're still dealing with the same type of issues. You know what I mean?
Mm,
So it really boils down to us building our own type of infrastructure in order to get that and make that change. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. Well, you see, well, that is not another thing, We have to start look to creating our own, I won't say empire. Then we have to
Yeah.
create strong foundations that we can support our own. It might be slow, it might it might be hard to start, but we have to do that, because if we are going to depend on other people to recognize us, or when we already have that recognition here, we have it within. So probably we just have to learn to create our own empires in terms of music labels, and support each other. Create different platforms, or because a lot of persons here, also groups, try to preserve that authentic reggae and that culture. So you might have certain places uptown that groups are persons, they might keep parties or small functions, and they don't wait on big parties to keep for the artists to get to work. They keep their own sessions, you know, and the fans sometimes they stream it and all of that. So they're not depending on just the public support. They try to do their own thing.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I want to say this last thing in a way, but I hear what you're saying. But there's another thing too within Canada, right? Because there's so few reggae artists, and most of the reggae artists they're in their 40s because it's taken them 20 years to get to a certain level in Canada, right?
Yeah.
But we're saying if all the artists leave the music to build infrastructure, where are we gonna get artists from?
True.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the thing, because even me, like after I got my nomination for the Junos, I stepped away from the music because the same thing, I'm there trying to canvas and really just build myself as an artist. There's no infrastructure for reggae really in Canada. You know what I mean? So I stepped back from the music to help build the infrastructure, but it's like I'm not given the opportunity to do the music because I'm working in radio, I'm working in trying to build the infrastructure so that the next generation of reggae artists they'll have something there. And that's what a lot of us are doing. But it's like while we're stepping away, who's going to take our place?
True. It's a real concern.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Folks, we are in conversation with the amazing Wesbeezi, a dancehall artist. He's all the way in beautiful Jamaica. And we're having a very wonderful conversation. And this is the very first time, Petraa, that I have interviewed or had, no, not interviewed, had a conversation with an artist who's so warm, cool, calm, cool, and collected and stuff like that. That's Wesbeezi. And if you listen to the music, he's not projecting the sort of person he is right now. As I say. Wesbeezi, my question to you will be, how do you stay motivated?
Okay. Well, I always rely on the information that I know and the experiences that I have. Whenever you feel down, because first of all, I don't have a lot of well, I am a lone child. I'm a lone child. The only child from my mother. So I grew up in different areas, changing residences because of how I grew up going to school. So I didn't really grow up with my mother. So even though I'm a lone child. So the different experiences that I have always known myself to be a certain person from when I was young. But the experiences teach you a lot. And then at certain times you might feel alone. But then you rely on truth, wisdom. It is important for you to gather wisdom in life. Because wisdom will direct you. Wisdom has the power to supersede emotions and feelings. So you might feel, but when you with wisdom, you can stay focused and know that there's a higher outcome awaiting if you continue on a certain path. So that is how we stay motivated. And also where you can find things around you to trigger that motivation. Sometimes it can be just listening to the birds, or looking at a cat move and things like that. Simple things, man. Simple things.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. And the follow-up question, who among the numerous artists around the globe would you like to collaborate?
Go again.
Who would you like to collaborate with? How many, if you can drop some names, that would be interesting because there are so many. We've had so many artists come in here, and I hope you're not going to say Chris Brown. Because we have a lot of our artists who come here for conversations. Who do you want to collaborate with? Majority of them are saying Chris Brown.
And it's funny that they said that today because Chris Brown is Chris what? Breezy or something like that.
Oh right. And you're Wesbeezi.
Oh, that's right.
Right, you see. Yeah, so it's just funny that they said that. But well, really and truly, I have never really looked in that direction in terms of say who I would like to collaborate with, because at the end of the day, if if and how the music is done and it gravitates in terms of how it is propelled, or it is, marketed and all of that. Different artists also may reach out to you. So depending on who is interested, because it's very hard to say. I won't say I would like to collaborate with Chris Brown, or I wouldn't like to collaborate with Chris Brown. But you have a lot of artists. I never really think of myself collaborating with them. I just always try to do music and stay in my lane. That is that is the honest thing. I'm never a person to really try to push up and become a part of persons just to be a part of them. You understand? But if there's a situation that causes us to collaborate or come into contact for some purpose, I never have a problem.
Yeah,
You
I like that.
understand? I might not answer the question like how
No,
you
you have.
want it, but
You have.
it's just that is how it is.
No, you have answered the question very well, because you said it before that one has got to believe in themselves. You said it before, and I like your answer, because there's only one Wesbeezi, only one, only one. There's no two, there's no three, only one. So if you believe in yourself, and then you are able to do your music as the way you are doing it, and then you feel fine, hey, kudos to you. Because you know what? You've opened my eyes to a lot of things with respect to, I listened to a couple of tracks that you've done, and Vibes gives me that inkling that, you know what, we had an artist from Antigua, Tigua, if Tigua is listening right now. He did some work also in Nigeria, and he is breaking the walls left, right, and center. And with your track here, Vibes, even though you've done it, trust me, the way ahead of you is going to be brighter. Keep on doing what you're doing, my brother. It's so beautiful. And I'm having a conversation with you right now, with so many people around the globe listening to you right now. It's so refreshing, because you are an artist. From where I said, you are an artist who is independently minded. You look at you are in your own space and time, and in your own lane. Kudos to you. Continue with that and give us more vibes. Keep on, give us more vibes. And before we go, what do you want to tell your fans around the globe? There are a lot of people out there listening to you from so many different countries right now. Maybe you may convert to so many others too. I know you have a lot of following too. So what would you like to tell your fans around the globe?
Well, first of all, respect for the love, and the support, and just want everybody to take care of themselves, help who you can, and look out for great music coming from Wesbeezi, because we are doing it this way. We have a lot of time to produce and represent the music the way how the person who I am, right? So respect to all persons, US, Africa, Europe likewise, Caribbean, who listen to Wesbeezi. We have a lot of new stuff coming out. We have a video for Vibes. It's almost complete. And when that hits, it will be more entertaining, and be more a lot of persons will be more motivated to know that we have a lot of work in the pipeline coming, and big up the management team, Zoe Rashcash, and all the persons who are affiliated with Wesbeezi and Movement, Chico Mir, No Nation, so respect, enough respect.
And this is a very big shout out to Zwan and Rashcash. Hey, Zwan, thank you.
Zwan, Rashcash.
Yeah, thank you for giving us good artists out there. There are a lot of artists out there who have never been discovered, and gradually we are getting to know so many, because those of us who have won awards are not the best. The best ones are yet to be discovered. And to be honest with you, there are a lot of artists out there who are not getting airplay. They are not getting airplay. They are good, but then how do we get them? We've reached out to so many different organizations out there. If you have an artist who you believe that they're great, just like how we are having this conversation so excitedly here, you know what, would like to reach out to us. But let me assure you, this is your radio station. This is the elite music radio station as well. I mean, this is their radio station. Raskash, Zoan, we thank you very much for this. And before we go, Petraa, do you have any last word for?
Go again,
Petraa.
Go again. I never hear that.
Oh, he was asking me a question, Wesbeezi.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just want to say this has just been a phenomenal interview with you, Wesbeezi. Like, you have phenomenal music. You're a great artist, and just hearing you speak has just been a breath of fresh air. You know, you're very inspirational. You're very motivating, and keep doing what you're doing. You know, keep inspiring the world. You know, keep being a leader. Continue to be a role model. You know, for this generation and the next generation of young artists coming up. You know, and yeah, we wish you all the best, and know that you're always gonna have the support of the Love Bay family, and we just love what you're doing, so just keep it up. Enough love from us always. Okay?
Yeah, man, love that. Really, I feel love from here, so stay right as I feel love.
That's good. Yeah, definitely. It's real.
And remember, you have to come back, and we are going to make sure that Zoan and Raskash and all the staff and management at Elite Music, you know what, we are going to put our resources together, collaborate with them, with you, with everybody out there, so that we'll bring the best of music to the world. Because, folks, vibes is the music right now from Wesbeezi. Check him out. Just check him out. Go out there and check him out. And Wesbeezi, your social media platforms, please, if somebody would like to check.
So, is WESBEEZI, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. Also, check out numberonemusic.com. You'll find a lot of Wesbeezi tracks on that side. numberonemusic.com, Wesbeezi. So, on all major platforms, music out there. Just check it out.
Awesome. Well, folks, this has been a very motivational conversation with this motivational artist. He's warmed my heart, because you know what, the way he's speaking about the music and about artists being independent minded, well, kudos to him. And I will continue to say that vibes is the way to go. Check him out. It's a great piece of work. And until then, folks, take care of yourselves and each other. And thank you for inviting us into your space. We'll meet again in 7 days.
Yeah, man. Thanks for the shout out and accommodation.
No problem. Anytime.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Cool.
Bye.